Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to episode number 7, year number 7 of the LA Rams 10-year rebuild. We are coming to the end of the rebuild. We've only got this year, year 8, year 9, and year 10. So we have 4 years, including this year, to win a Super Bowl. Will it happen? I sure as heck hope so. We've had some up and downs in the series so far. Obviously, the beginning it was a little bit more rough because we were a really bad team and we needed to build it up through the draft and through free agency and through trades and all that kind of stuff. But now I feel like this past episode, last episode, episode 6, and maybe even episode 5 a little bit, we've started to turn that corner and now we're here. We're in our winning window, I would assume. I feel like this is where we're not at the peak of our powers, but we are just like right on the edge, right about to burst through the glass ceiling. So I hope you guys are excited. If you are, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Let's get year number 7 underway. So here we are, and as we always got to do, we got to set the season goal to start the year. I think we're going to just make the playoffs. I know in the intro I was saying how I think we're right on the cusp of winning the Super Bowl, but I don't want to get too greedy just yet. So if you guys have forgotten what our roster looks like from last episode to this episode, we have Malcolm Ogletree, who is now an X-Factor quarterback. He's rocking, what's his ability rocking? He's rocking dots. He's also got Hot Route Master. He's got Protected. He's got Pocket Deadeye, Quick Draw, and Fearless. And remember, I don't know if I did this on camera or off camera, but I changed his release. I think I did that on camera. But these are what his ratings are look like. He's gotten that deep accuracy up. It was in the low 80s a couple of seasons ago, and now it's starting to get up there. He's really becoming a really good quarterback. I'm glad that we have him on the team. His speed is kind of still average, but for the most part, he doesn't really need to have speed because he seems to be a pretty accurate thrower. Although when we got into that game against the Vikings, he wasn't very accurate, which was kind of upsetting. He hasn't been very accurate in the playoffs, let's just say that. Our wide receivers need a little bit of work. We have Mac Franks, who we got in a trade last offseason, I'm pretty sure. And then we have Rondell Moore, who we signed in free agency. We have Sky Moore, who we got in a trade earlier. We still have Van Jefferson. The offensive line is looking okay. It just needs to get higher overall, basically. Everybody's looking pretty good. We have the Hawkins, and we have Rocky Meadows. I'm liking the 2 tight ends set that we have here. And then on defense, we've got a ton of talent. We got a couple meatballs down here on the defensive line. But we switched to a 4-3. And I think the defense looks a little bit better now. We're playing Barkley at free safety, remember, so that he can get some play time instead of just sitting there on the bench and not getting a ton of work in the corner. He'll still play a little corner, but safety is something we need to work on. But I just wanted to get Barkley a little bit more play time. And they want us to actually start Palumbo over Bobby Knight. I want 3 straight X Factors on my linebacking core. Obviously, we have Covington from a trade last offseason as well. I like this defense. I like this team as a whole. I think that we are going to be pretty good this year. That's what I'm hoping for. All we got to do now is just see how it simulates. I'm really hoping that we are a very dominant team because otherwise I don't really know what to do. I think in the offseason we're going to trade Kenny Moore just because I think he's not going to be worth it much longer. And he's certainly regressing. But we need to get some depth, maybe at the safety spot or maybe at the corner spot even more. So there's a few things we need to touch up and tweak a little bit. Obviously at the wide receiver spot too. We need to get a second wide receiver. We need to get a wide receiver too because we haven't really had one when Cooper Kupp went away. We weren't prepared for that totally. So we got to figure it out. And the best way of doing that is seeing how the team does at the midseason mark. I'll see you guys there. We've made it to the midseason mark. We are 4-2 currently on the year, so we're having a pretty good start to the season. We're leading our division, as you would expect. And if we take a look halfway through, Malcolm Ogletree's having a really good start to the year. I'm very excited to see how that ends up finishing. But I think the most important part is we need to take a look at who is up for a contract this year, and it is Malcolm Ogletree. Now, we have a lot of money in cap space, and we have to re-sign our quarterback. This is our quarterback for the series, so we have to re-sign him. But there are so many good players on this board that need to be re-signed. Are we going to have enough money to bring them back? I don't know, but we certainly have to make sure that we get back Malcolm Ogletree. And this is going to eat up so much money, but this will take care of Ogletree for the rest of the rebuild. Remember, we only have 4 seasons left, 3 not including this one, so this 6-year contract will be good enough. Will he sign it? He could find a better team in free agency that will match this offer. Wow. That's a little disrespectful. Okay. We're going to try to re-sign Seawright, Max Seawright, and he is coming back. Perfect. But I don't want to try to re-sign anybody else because I want to wait till we can have another chance to offer Malcolm Ogletree because I really don't want to trade him away. So I will see you guys at the playoffs where hopefully we are the 1 seed and don't have to worry about the wild card. But you never know with Madden simulations. And hopefully I have good news where I've re-signed Malcolm Ogletree. I'll see you guys then. Here we are in the playoffs. We made the playoffs at 13-4. By far the best record. Everybody else was 6 wins or lower. So we absolutely destroyed the division. We are clearly the better team, the best team in the division. But unfortunately, as you can see, we aren't the 1 seed. We are at best the 2 seed. I don't even know. I think we have to be the 2 seed, 13. No, we're the 3 seed. The Tampa Bay Bucks and the Philadelphia Eagles had better records than we did at 13-4. All right, we got our work to do in this playoff run, but that's not the most important news because the most important news is I was able to re-sign Malcolm Ogletree. It took a lot of money. We'll go over his contract in a second, but it took a lot of money to bring him back. But he produced pretty well. 5,000 yards, 39 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. I'd like to see him cut down the interceptions a little bit, but it's by far not that bad. 1,100 yards for Najee Harris and 19 touchdowns. That's good. 1,300 yards for Rondale Moore, finally being the #1 receiver. And then Mac Frank's got 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Jerry Hawkins also got 8 touchdowns with 900 yards. All right. We still need to work on the wide receiver room a little bit. Chris Palumbo, 117 tackles. They must have switched it back instead of Bobby Knight to have him be the starter, which is all right, I guess. Jalen Phillips has maybe been the best player of this entire series since we brought him in. He has been such a good player. He also had 2 interceptions with 14 sacks, 9.5 for Derek Brown, 9.5 for Ben Covington, 4 interceptions for Darren Davis and Gregory Barkley, 3 for Palumbo, 3 for Delpit, 2 for Phillips and Burgess, 1 for Bobby Knight and McCullum. McCullum hasn't really done what I expected him to do in this rebuild, but he has been a solid player for us. It's actually been Barkley and Davis who have turned out to be the better of the two corners. And it looks like Cody Bruce kicked a 57-yarder, so that kicking power is coming into play very, very nicely. All right, so that is what the stats are looking like. I'll show you the salary, the contract that we gave, what's-his-face, Ogletree. We paid him in total $386 million. He was not having any of it. He was on the Lamar Jackson bag. He wanted everything. His bonus is $158 million. Yeah, we are paying him upwards of 50 plus for the next few seasons. So we might be in a little bit of financial hardship coming in the future, but it's all worth it if we win 1 Super Bowl. That's all it is. It's just 1 Super Bowl we got to win, and it starts right here with the Atlanta Falcons in the wild card. Come on, boys, get me a W. Make me proud. Make me a proud papa. And there it is. We sneak by 34-31, but it's a W, and a W is a W in the NFL. We are going to go with, you know what, let's just keep upgrading the field general spot. Malcolm Ogletree is almost a 99. He's a 94 in the field general aspect. We're going to auto-upgrade the rest of these. I also, when I was signing everybody to contracts, as we have to play the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional, I was not able to bring back Derek Brown, which is a big thing. We beat the Cowboys 31-21. We take on the Bucks, who are 15-2. That was the 1 seed. Whew. Tampa Bay, do not give me any trouble here. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm not looking. Did we move on to the Super Bowl? We lost 38-21. Another year where we don't make the Super Bowl. We are running out of time, and I feel like this team is good enough to make the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl. It's just not happening. I don't know. I don't know what to do differently except for just give our guys more time to develop, maybe. I have no idea what to do differently, but we got to move on from Derek Brown because I could not bring him back. We got to simulate this Super Bowl run. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers because they're the team that beat us. So let's pick Tampa to win the Super Bowl. They lose the Super Bowl to the Cincinnati Bengals, so maybe we would have lost the Super Bowl to the Bengals too. I don't know. If the Bucs couldn't even beat them. 43-36, the Bengals win, and Joe Burrow is your MVP of the Super Bowl. Mahomes wins the MVP of the league. Marshawn Wallace wins the Coach of the Year for the Jets. Mike Evans and Myles Garrett are the Players of the Year, and Glenn Bradley of the Saints and Tevin Perkins of the Bills are your Offense and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Okay, very interesting season. Now we move into the offseason where we're going to have to make some moves. We're going to have to trade Derek Brown, and we're going to trade Kenny Moore. Now, obviously, Kenny Moore's value is a lot different than what Derek Brown's value is, so we'll have to figure that out. I don't even know what our draft picks are. I guess we could take a look, but first we'll have to take a look at the retirement board. We lose... Oh, Kenny Moore retired, so we don't have to worry about trading him. All right, whatever. Jimmy Garoppolo also retires, so we're going to have to find another backup quarterback. Larry Tunsil, Kevin Byard, Mike Williams, Jabril Peppers, Deion Dawkins. This Hall of Fame class isn't going to be as good. Mike Evans is here, Ryan Jensen, Shaquille Leonard, Justin Simmons, Stephon Diggs. Okay, it's getting a little bit better down the board. It's not as good as we've seen in the past. There's been some amazing Hall of Fame classes in the past, but this one's still pretty good. I'm not going to knock it. It's still a very solid Hall of Fame class, and it'll have Andy Reid in it, is what I wanted to say. So going into player negotiations, we have Derek Brown here, who I was not able to re-sign, and we're probably not going to be able to re-sign him, so that kind of sucks. We're going to lose out on all of these guys, but I don't want to lose out on Cody Bruce just because he's our kicker. So I want to sign him to a 4-year contract just because he wants to play for a new team next year? Really, Cody? You're a kicker. I'm going to franchise tag Cody Bruce. I don't want to lose him. He was one of our draft picks, so... We franchise tag Cody Bruce. Yeah, maybe that's a dumb idea, but I don't care. So what are our draft picks looking like? If we're looking at mock draft number, I haven't even taken a look at what this class has to offer. It looks like it has a pretty good quarterback and a really good receiver. Hello, who are you? Devontae Duncan. We are in need of a receiver, but his speed isn't great, so he's not a generational receiver, but he looks pretty good. What's his physicals again? He's 6'3", 223 out of Clemson. He looks like a really good receiver. If only his speed was a little higher, then we would know if he was generational or not. But there looks to be some pretty good players in this class, especially some tackles. We have number 9 in the draft. We have number 22 and 24 in the draft. So we have 3 first-round picks. 2 are a little bit lower, and 1 is in the top 10. So if we wanted to trade up to get Devontae Duncan, or Devontae, is it Devontae Duncan? I think it's Devontae Duncan. I think is how you would pronounce that. I'm not 100% sure. But if we wanted to trade up to get him, because we do need a number 2 receiver to go alongside Rondale Moore, I guess maybe a number 1, because Rondale's not really a number 1, even though he produced like he could be. I don't know, but there's also some pretty good tackles on this board. There's also this guy, Peter Teague, who I didn't even recognize, or I didn't even acknowledge. Good to great speed. Poor to marginal acceleration, though, kind of throws me off of him, but he's got A pursuit and A play rec. He could be good. I don't know if he's top 5 material. This guy also looks pretty good. I thought it was going to be Rocky McIntosh. Marcus McIntosh is an interesting player, not anything outstanding. What about Josh Rhodes? Josh Rhodes could be better. He's 6'6". He looks better than McIntosh, that's for sure. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. We'll have to see what happens as we get closer to the draft. Will I decide to trade up? I don't know, but we got to make the trade with Derek Brown, which kind of sucks. I wanted to bring Derek Brown back, but I couldn't because of how much we paid Malcolm Ogletree. So it was just not a feasible thing to bring him back. So we're going to trade Derek Brown. We're going to trade him for a D tackle and maybe a right tackle if we have the ability to. So let's go around the board. We could probably get Joey Wilcox, actually. What's his development trait? He's superstar. Joey Wilcox, welcome to the team. Do you have a good right tackle? You've got Don Casey, who's a star development tackle, but he really wouldn't help us that much. What about a right guard, a center? Ooh, a center. We could maybe take him and move somebody else. Let's see if Derek Brown, this might be a little bit not enough value. Do they have a receiver? They still have DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, but they have Frank Wilson. Does anybody have star development or better? Dion Giselle, or is it Gilsley? I think it's Gilsley. They have Jalen Jett. What a name that is. If your name is Jalen Jett, you better be fast. 87 speed. I expect it to be a little bit better, but they don't really have a receiver that I'd be interested in. What about a running back? Jared Lane? No, nobody there. Deron Payton, I mean, he's normal, but he's a 79. Do you have a backup quarterback? They have Devin Fitzsimmons, Sam Vernon. I don't know. This is probably... Let me throw in a draft pick. I don't know if this will go through. They have 2 first-round picks. What's the value on this? Trade accepted. So Derek Brown heads to the Bears. We get back a D-tackle replacement who is a superstar development player. We get another center who we might be able to work around, make him a guard maybe. And we get another first-round pick. So we have 4 first-round picks. Yeah, we're in the negative, but we don't really need to sign anybody in free agency. We can just use our picks to build our depth that way. But now let's go to our lineup. Let's go to our lineup and see. So we can make Silverman a right guard. And then our offensive line would be pretty good. So let's select Silverman. Lance Silverman. Can he play right guard? I hope he can. He's got decent run block. What's his agility and stuff looking like? He's got, he might not be able to play guard. What about Emmanuel Farr? Does he have better agility? Can he play guard? Yeah. Okay, we'll move Emmanuel Farr. I didn't mean to back out there. We'll move Emmanuel Farr to right guard. He'll take over there. Silverman will come up and play center. And then we will have a pretty good offensive line. And we have some pretty good depth there as well. We have Lafferty, we have Peck, we have Baker as well. So we've got some pretty, and we have Rich now who's a backup. So that offensive line looks pretty solid. Hawkins went up to freaking Superstar X Factor. I didn't even realize. So that's awesome. And then we go to the defense, and it looks like they still have Palumbo. I mean, Palumbo's a very good player, but Covington went down. I don't think so. Get him back up to Superstar X Factor. I'm not having any of this dev trait regression for no reason. He's gonna go down back up to X Factor, and I didn't think, did it change the defensive one? No, Barkley's just not starting at free safety anymore. And it turned McCollum. You know what? I'm gonna keep McCollum at star because he hasn't really produced like a superstar would. So I'm gonna keep him at star. But I am gonna make Barkley a free safety again. I should probably even just change him to free safety if I wanted to, but we'll see how it goes. The defensive line is looking pretty good. We just re-signed Abbott during the regular season. We got our replacement for Derek Brown and Wilcox. We do need another left end. Maybe there's one in the class that we could get. That's always a possibility. So let's go to make sure that there's no more players that I need to trade or re-sign. Those 2 guys that we traded for are under contract, or they're going to need contracts for next season. So that's an interesting thing, and I don't think there's anybody else that we need to re-sign here. So we're going to go to the free agency period, and we're going to fill... No, I don't want to go to Phil's staff. I want to go... I don't care. You can sign whoever you want. I'm going to go to the first free agency period. We have pick 9, and then we have like 3 picks in the late first round. So we can make this work. Who's in the free agency class? There's probably nobody that is of interest. Josh Allen's here, but he's 33. Kittle. There's some good players in this class. This free safety looks pretty good. There's some good players in this class, but there's nobody here that's like, oh, I gotta get him. I gotta actually have him. So that's pretty good. I'm happy about that. See combine results. Is there anybody in the combine results that I need to get up? Is this guy worth getting? He ran a 4.4, which isn't amazing, but he's got elite strength and elite jumping. He looks like a unicorn-type player where he's very, very interesting. But is he worth the #1 overall pick? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I'm not 100% sure. We need to look at the pass rushers and receivers. Oh God, it's really a 1 receiver class. That is not good. We are in the market for a receiver, and it is not good the rest of the way down there. But we do need left end or right end. We can make a move either way. And you know what? I might be able to move. We need to take a look at either. We might not even need to get one, because we need to take a look at Bobby Knight and Palumbo. Maybe we can move them, or even Covington. Maybe we can move them to end. That might be interesting, especially if there's nobody here that's intriguing. And it looks like this class is kind of mid. There's not really anybody at the top half that is like blowing me away like I have to have him. Peter T looks okay. There's not really an amazing corner that I have to have. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now maybe if I went in and did a little bit more deeper dive, I'd find some hidden gems or something, but as of right now, there's not really anybody that I need to get. So we need to get our game plan ready. That receiver is interesting, but is he #1 pick worthy? We'll find out with the final mock draft if he is going to go #1, because usually at the top 5 to 10 picks follow the mock draft pretty accurately. So we'll see if he actually does go #1 overall, or if he's projected to go #1 overall. Then we'll have to make our decision on that. But other than that, I don't really know if there's another guy in this class that's like, absolutely, I gotta get. So let's see that final mock draft. Let's see if he's worth it. So mock draft number 5, Steve Parsons moves up to #1, and then Duncan falls to 2. So it does say that he is pretty much a top 5 talent. I don't know if he is, though. I don't really know if he is a top 5 talent. I mean, I think he is out of this draft comparable to other people in his class, but in the past drafts that we've seen in this series, in the simulation, he's not the greatest player. Let's take a look at both Palumbo and Knight and even Covington and see if we can move one of them down to the end. What is Covington's ratings? He's got 84 speed, 90 excel. His finesse moves and block shedding aren't great. He's not a coverage linebacker. He's a pass rushing linebacker. So that makes me think he'd be good for a move to the end. And then we could have Palumbo and Knight both start. What's Bobby Knight's coverage ratings? Is he more of a guy who can go out and cover? His man coverage is not good. His zone coverage is not good, but not horrible. I mean, it's bad, but it's not what Covington's is. And then what about Palumbo? Is Palumbo suited for a middle linebacker spot, or is he more of a end? His man coverage is a 76. His catching is not very good. His zone coverage is an 83. Out of all the linebackers, he's probably the one that would fit best at that spot. So here's the plan. We're going to move Covington to right end. We're going to move Palumbo to left end, or left outside linebacker, and Bobby Knight will move up to middle linebacker. So let's go do that right now. So Ben Covington will move to, what did I say, right end? He will move to right end, take over for Deron Payne, so we actually have a legit right end there. Perfect. You love to see it. We're going to move Deron Payne right there to be the 3rd string tackle. Actually, he could probably be the 2nd string tackle behind Abbott. So then there we go. So Deron Payne moves back up. Palumbo is going to move over to left outside linebacker then, because out of everybody, he's probably fits the most accurately there. Move him to left outside linebacker, and then Bobby Knight will then subsequently move up to middle linebacker. Perfect. This defense looks a lot better. And you know what? I'm just going to make... I don't know. I was just going to make Barkley a free safety. But then we lose our depth at corner. And we don't have a lot of depth at corner anyway. And this class isn't that great at corner, so I think I'll just keep him at corner for right now, just plain safety. All right, with that being done, now what we need to target in the draft is wide receiver. It's wide receiver, it's corner, it's safety for depth purposes. So wide receiver, corner, and safety, and I don't think this class has much of that except for the number 1 guy, Duncan, or the number 2 guy, I guess now. And here we are at the draft. I don't think with the negative $8 million that we can trade up to get the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick. I can try. I don't think that it's going to be possible. If we go to the 49ers who have the number 2 pick, the 49ers have the number 2 pick, and it says that we can approve the offer a little bit. I don't think this will go through because of the fact that we don't have cap space. They want to improve it a little bit more. We don't have any second-round picks. I didn't realize that. What about if I give you a third-round pick? Trade offer declined just barely. So I'll give you a 6th-round pick. That should move it forward. And it's accepted. So we move up to the number 2 pick. And presumably, they will take the quarterback here. Stephen Parsons goes out of Utah State. And now we can take Duncan to be our wide receiver. Devontae Duncan. He's not the fastest receiver in the world, but he ran a 4.48 and a 4.42 at his pro day, and he's got elite jumping and elite speed, or elite strength is what I meant. And his skills don't look horrible. So we're going to take him. He is hidden development. 90 speed's not bad. For a receiver, it's kind of mid, but 97 jumping, 93 acceleration. He's going to be pretty good. At 6'3", he's a pretty big body at receiver. I'm happy that we got him. And we needed a receiver. So that's checked off the board. Now we just need safety and corner. And we can pretty much skip to our next pick. And I don't know if we take a player at this spot. Maybe we trade back. The top corner left on the board is Justin McLeod. And he has great speed at 4. Ooh, okay, he's got some decent speed. What are his stats looking like? Ugh. But that's going up against other corners, so maybe it's not as bad as you would think. A safety, Larry Knowles. I think Larry Knowles might be the better of the 2 options. So what we could do is we could take both of them, because we have picks really close together, and then we trade our final pick. Unless there's another corner that's better than the guy that's at the top. This guy has elite acceleration and elite change of direction. So he's not super fast, but when he gets to his top speed, or he gets to his top speed very fast, but his top speed isn't very fast, if you know what I'm saying. But he does have B man coverage, which is better than what McLeod had, and there's really nobody else. So it's either Troy Woodley or Justin McLeod. I'm not really too sure on who I like better. KJ Biddle. I don't like KJ Biddle. He's got 8 pursuit, but doesn't really do it for me. I like Larry Knowles. What do I like about this guy? Sidney Divins. I don't really like much about him. He's more of a linebacker than anything, really. 5'11", 206. What about Courtney Rogers? Rogers. Nah, I don't like much about him. Not at this spot, at least. If this was in the 2nd or 3rd round, maybe I'd take him. I like Larry Knowles probably more than anyone else. Definitely more than the free safeties. But do I like him more than Justin McLeod? Let me take a look at Justin McLeod one more time. I don't think he's worth it. Not at this spot. And plus Troy Woodley's there who has the good acceleration. I think I'm going to take Larry Knowles here. He is hidden development. We needed a backup safety who maybe ends up taking over. And we got that here, so that's good. 90 acceleration, 90 agility, 91 speed. Who knows? He could end up being pretty good. And we have a pick that is right after the Chiefs. So either there goes Justin McLeod, so that makes our decision a little bit easier. We have pick 30. I think what I'm going to do with this pick is I'm going to trade it for first round pick next year. And then we're going to take, if he's there, we're going to take Troy Woodley. Because I think that he is going to be a little bit better than Justin McLeod. Probably not too much. At least I hope he's better than Justin McLeod. But we have to trade. We have to get another first round pick. We need one in 2030. And right now, nobody is offering me 2030. The Vikings are. They're offering me a first and a second. I like that. And that right now is the favorite. It is the front runner. Although the Packers are just straight up offering me a first and a second. Now, the Packers have been pretty good in this simulation, so we have to worry about that. I think I'm going to do that Packers pick, or those two Packer picks. Yeah. Let's do the Packer picks. We get a first and a second in 2030. They're both at the back half of the draft, but maybe the Packers have a bad year. Who knows? And we need to see if that corner, his name was Troy Woodley, I think his name was. So we need to see if he goes before then. And he doesn't. So we can take Troy Woodley with this pick. And we probably do need to take him with this pick because he most likely will be gone. Yeah, he's right here at the top. He probably will be gone in the second round. So is he worth a first round pick? I don't know, but we're going to take a flyer on him. He's only normal development, which kind of sucks. But he's got 90 speed, 94 acceleration. Like I said, his speed is slow, but he gets to his speed very fast. He's got 95 change of direction, too. That's pretty good. And he's got better man coverage than McLeod did. Was it worth a first-round pick? Probably not. But in this kind of draft class where there's not really a whole lot of talent in this entire draft class, it may end up being a better pick than what we think it is right now. Especially depending on how he develops. Now that we're here, we need to probably look at getting some depth because we don't have a lot of money, and so we need to bring in some depth. We already got a corner. We got a safety. We checked off every box that we came into the class or came into the draft needing. So now we just need to fill in some spots, and we probably need, I don't know, this class isn't really living up to the fact that we need to get some other spots. Like there's not really in this top, there's not really a best player available, really. I'm not seeing anybody that's like going crazy for me. We do need to get a quarterback, I guess. So out of the quarterbacks that are available, who is the best one? Not you. What's this guy named? Pete Peters? Oh, I got to take Pete Peters. I don't care how bad he is. We got to take a guy named Pete Peters. That is an all-time name. That's a Hall of Fame name right there. I'm just making sure that there's not a quarterback that's like crazy fast. And it doesn't look like there is anyone left like that. So we're taking Pete Peters. He's a scrambling quarterback. His name is great. And he's got hidden development. What is that? Pete Peters. 86 throw power off the bat. He's a work in progress. He's a piece of clay that we need to mold. But hey, look at that. We're in Matt Stafford's number, by the way. We took a flyer on a quarterback in the 3rd round because of his Hall of Fame level name, and he ends up being a hidden development. So who knows? Maybe he could be the next quarterback for the LA Rams once the Malcolm Ogletree era is over. That's pretty fun. He's only got star, I would assume. I'm not like thinking he's got anything crazy, but this guy has A zone coverage. Perry Higgins. He's got great speed, elite change of direction. A zone coverage. I'll take him. 85 speed, 89 acceleration, 79 change of direction. Maybe he could be something. I don't know. I'm not mad at that pick. I'm not mad at the pick. And I think we're just going to trade away the rest of these picks because this draft class is not great. So let's trade away with the Bears. And I'm probably not going to draft anybody else. So I will see you guys at the draft recap. Okay, here we are at draft recap. And Duncan ended up being 81 overall. So I guess in the short term, it was worth trading up to the number 2 pick to get him. He's got 90 speed. He already comes in as our third receiver because we have Franks and we have Rondale Moore. But him being the third receiver, maybe he develops into a number 1. I hope. I like it. Troy Woodley ends up being a 75. Larry Knowles is a 74. So those two guys are going to need some time to develop. Higgins is a 63. Pete Peters is a 61. I didn't expect anything crazy from him, but he's got hidden development, and we took him in the 3rd round, pick 22. So I'm not mad at that pick at all. Was Duncan the best player available? He was, and it really wasn't even close. There was another receiver who got taken in the 31st who has 99 speed, 97 acceleration. I should have done some homework. He only has normal development, but he has 99 speed out of the gate. I might have to trade for Robert Reynolds. 99 speed. That is hard to come by in a draft. This guy has 99 speed, but 90 acceleration. If you get this combo right here, 99 speed, 97 acceleration, that is really hard to come by. There's a couple of really fast receivers who don't have like the best amount of acceleration. There's a few pretty decent receivers in this class in terms of speed. But I may have to make a trade for Robert Reynolds just for sole fact of he's got the speed. So I'm going to have to remember him. But that is going to do it for episode 7, year number 7 of the rebuild. We made the playoffs. We made the NFC Championship game, but we did lose it to the Tampa Bay Bucks, funny enough. Unfortunate that we did lose that game, but I think this team got better in the offseason. You may not think that it did, but I think we did. Malcolm Ogletree, another year of development. We added Devontae Duncan in the offseason in the draft. We added Silverman in free agent or in a trade, so he's now our center. We got Emmanuel Farr, who got kicked over to left guard because Bates moved up, so he's pretty good. The offensive line looks really good. The offense in general looks pretty good. And then on defense, we moved Palumbo to left outside linebacker. We moved Covington over to right end. We have Barkley at free safety. We're still working on corner so that Barkley's playing corner. I think this team is good. I really like this team. Why did they have Deron Payne all the way down here? I don't know, but we'll move Deron Payne up. I think this team is good. Yeah, we lack still some depth at corner and safety, but for the most part, this team doesn't look too bad. And I know I've been saying that for a few episodes now, but I really do think that this team is primed and ready to go for a Super Bowl run. It's just a matter of the simulation and if we can actually get there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.